In this video, we are reacting to the Young Thug situation explained. Now, a lot of people don't really know exactly what's going on with Young Thug. I know a bit only because I've been kind of keeping up with it, and because Young Thug is my type of artist. So this will clear things up for a lot of people. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video.
She been comment me.
While he was in jail awaiting his RICO charge, he made a couple phone calls. Now, these phone calls have been leaked. That's his problem. Because in these phone calls, he's talking to a lot of people about a lot of things. And he believes that they're private phone calls, so he's sharing his private conversations. And think about yourself. Think about private conversations you've had in the past when you're talking to somebody really, really close to you. Some of that audio you don't want leaked out. Well, in Young Thug's case, he's talking about some very sensitive information, like he got no care in the world. Now, to go a little deeper, there's actually two aspects to Young Thug's problem. Listen to this next part closely. There are the jail leaks that we just talked about, and there's another leak. Now, why I call this two separate incidents is because they happen at separate times, okay? All the jail calls that were leaked happened when he was facing his RICO charge, okay? The other leak where he's talking to police happened way before he was arrested for a RICO charge. That's important. Now, during the jail calls, he's just a little gossipy. Remember, he's talking to his friends, his homies. He really think, hey, this ain't gonna get out. So he basically saying stuff like, Gucci Mane, maybe he's soft. He's saying, now, keep in mind, a lot of this stuff is clipped. And why I say that is because specifically for the Gucci Mane example, I'm telling you, the clip going around is Young Thug calls Gucci Mane soft. But honestly, there's a little more to it than that. Young Thug is more or less saying,
you get hurt in a car accident and they give you a check that wouldn't cover my shoe shine. That's
subscribe and we won't have to see ads.
Gucci Mane was mad at somebody. Gucci Mane went to jail. Gucci Mane got out of jail and he stopped being mad at that person. Gucci Mane is soft for not being mad at that person. And
now that's stupid. To be hard, you don't gotta hold a grudge. That's not what it's about. If you're mad, you're mad. People that hold grudges are different. I hold a grudge, but at the end of the day, or as I should say, at the end of the week, get over that shit. Or else you're just gonna get energy matched, really. You know what I mean? Young Thug is one of my favorite artists. Before he got locked up, he was, I'm not gonna say all time, but like personally, you know how like you have your artist personally? Young Thug was my artist. So this is sad to see, man.
Maybe he went to jail and turned soft. Now, I bring that up not to defend Young Thug because he called him soft still, but I want you to understand that there's still more context to this stuff. It's not, he's just not straight up just coming out talking smack about people. You know what I'm saying? All that to say, most of Young Thug's jail calls are surrounding that. It's just, he's been a little messy, nothing too crazy. Now, there's one call in particular that gives a little insight into Atlanta as a whole. Young Thug is speaking to his close friend, 21 Savage. Young Thug is speaking about what Gunna did during the RICO trial. If you don't know what a RICO trial is, it's basically they gather up members of a group and they categorize the whole group as a criminal organization, okay? So they pull in Gunna, they pull in Young Thug, they pull in a bunch of people. They want to label them as a criminal organization. To label them as a criminal organization, you have to have people in that organization say this is a criminal organization. Now, usually in RICO trial, police and the feds, they're just going for the person at the top. This was created for the mafia, so they can go for the mafia boss instead of like the lower level folks. In this case, it was Young Thug. So they gathered up Gunna and a bunch of people from YSL and said, look, all you need to tell us.
And if you don't know what YSL is, it's East Saint Laurent.
Is YSL, Young Thug's record label, is a criminal organization. All of y'all walk away. Now, if every single person in YSL said this is not a criminal organization, everyone walks away. But that's not realistic, right? So the lawyers are scrambling together and saying, boy, if you don't say it's a criminal organization, Gunna said, it's a criminal organization. Gunna and multiple people in YSL said it is a criminal organization, so Young Thug's case was kicked off. So Young Thug in jail after this happens. He's talking to 21 Savage and he's saying he cannot believe Gunna did that. He's very upset. 21 Savage telling him, well, I don't think Gunna did it to hurt you. It just made sense for Gunna to do that. Young Thug says he doesn't care. It broke his heart. 21 Savage brings up a very good point. He says, well, didn't you tell your brother to do the same thing as Gunna? To say YSL is a criminal organization so he can get 0 years?
Damn.
Young Thug denies this, but Young Thug actually did tell his brother to do that. So it seems that Young Thug saw the reasoning as to why somebody would say it's a criminal organization, but he just felt hurt hearing Gunna say it. He expected more loyalty from Gunna.
I could kind of feel that. I know I'm biased to Young Thug. I could kind of understand where he's coming from. Low key, it's kind of like, all right, I know we getting caught up right now, right? But I don't necessarily want to hear you say, oh yeah, that shit that Kester started over there, yeah, that shit was a problem. It is actually what you guys think it is. That'll make me feel some type of way too. Even though we know he probably should, so that he'll be free. If I care about my boy, I'm gonna be like, all right, cool, go do it. Just like he did with his brother, right? But that shit would hurt.
Now, I say this because remember in the beginning of this video, we said Young Thug basically has two problems. His jail calls were leaked, and an earlier recording of him talking to police were leaked. Well, people are basically saying, look, you're upset at Gunna for talking to police. Everybody's calling him a snitch. Young Thug, you calling him a snitch. But you was talking to police too. What's going on? Now, let's figure out what's going on together, because here's where things start to get wicked. Now, first things first, Young Thug's conversation with police is way before this Rico situation. This conversation is taking place because Lil Wayne's tour bus had just recently been shot up by a man named Pee Wee Roscoe. Basically, police were trying to connect some dots, okay? So they bring in Young Thug and they tell him, Young Thug, Tugga, as some may refer you as, you don't need to talk to us. They stress to Tugga that he does not need to speak to them. They stress this because they don't want all this information they have to be locked down later by a lawyer saying Young Thug didn't have his lawyer present, all that. So they tell him, you don't have to speak to us. Young Thug says, they say, you really don't have to speak to us. They say it like 5 times, I'm telling you. Young Thug says, no, I want to. And this is when people say, oh, there you go, Young Thug. You could have just got your lawyer. You could have just walked out, which Young Thug absolutely could have done. Because side note, police brought him in because his name, Young Thug's name, was connected to Pee Wee Roscoe, Lil Wayne, to the whole shooting situation. They already booked Pee Wee Roscoe. They already had evidence against Pee Wee Roscoe. They just wanted to see if they can get Young Thug too. The police kicked things off by being real cool, you know? Officer goes, man, I listen to your music. Real cool, you know? Officer goes, man, I listen to your music. Thug goes, really? He says, yeah, man. You want some food? You hungry? Thug goes, yeah, I can use some food. Get my boy some food. That's Thugger. Nah, but seriously though, you know Pee Wee Roscoe? Thug goes, I mean, they said, write that down. Thug said, Officer said, oh, don't worry about that. That's just a formality. And therein lies the issue. You see, the problem with Young Thug speaking to police and people speaking to police without lawyers present is because you don't know what the police are looking for. At this point, the police seem to be looking for a general framework as to what they...
I mean, tell you what the police will do. The police will tell you something that's wrong. Because technically, a lot of police officers in a lot of situations can't ask you questions, right? They can't say, oh, why did you do this? Why did you do this? And that will give up what he just said, what they're looking for. You know their motives, what they're trying to find out. So they gonna get your ass by telling you, hey, let's just say, paint a picture real quick. There's a Target down the block. Your friend robbed it, but you drove him back. Right? They're just, we saw you on the cameras. We saw like 20 people. We just interviewed all of them. I can't ask you questions right now. You don't got a lawyer, but like, I know you did it, and I know, and say in the camera, they saw you like in the battery aisle looking at something, put it down, right? They'll be like, I saw you in the battery aisle, and I saw that you stole that too. That's where they get your ass, right there. Because you gonna say, what? You gonna say, I didn't steal those batteries. I didn't steal the batteries, my friend did. That's how they get you talking. Necessarily, you won't come out and say, I didn't do it, my friend did. But you're gonna respond and say like, I didn't do that. You say yada 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 yada. And then they'll say, well, then why'd you do that? And you're gonna say, oh, because this happened, or because this, and that's how they further the, without you knowing what they're looking for. They're just gonna have you talk until they're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And they're gonna tell you, okay, so we got you on camera. That's how it's gonna happen.
Wanted to work with.
They just need you to admit that shit.
In Atlanta, in a sense, to build a sort of a file. It's hard to know why police are asking certain questions. For example, at one point, Young Thug seems to be trying to help Pee Wee Roscoe. He says, I thought Pee Wee Roscoe and Lil Wayne were close friends. And then I hear they are saying Pee Wee Roscoe had shot up Lil Wayne's tour bus. I was shocked. Young Thug is saying that. He thought they were friends. Fast forward to today's time, to recent times, Pee Wee Roscoe comes out with a video saying, in his opinion, Young Thug was trying to help him by throwing the police off, by saying Pee Wee Roscoe, Lil Wayne were friends, everybody cool. Okay.
Right.
Let's go back to the tape. Again, the problem is Young Thug and Pee Wee Roscoe, they're not playing the game that police and lawyers are playing. Police are taking that information and saying, okay, Lil Wayne friends with Pee Wee Roscoe.
Damn. So you saying he tried to throw him off the loop, both of them, but the police, it's like almost like you're joking with a kid that wants something from you and you tell them something else that's like, oh, I'm gonna tell them this so that they don't get it, but then they actually go and get what you said, or they go and eat or do what you just said, but you didn't. You just want them to stop doing this. They wanted them to leave this whole shooting alone and told them that they were cool or whatever, but that actually furthered their progress with the Rico. Sad. It didn't work out.
I don't believe that. Let's throw that away. The police said, okay, so Young Thug, you don't really know Pee Wee Roscoe like that. Young Thug says, that's what I said. I don't. I said, okay. But Pee Wee Roscoe says that you paid him to shoot up Lil Wayne's tour bus. Young Thug says, man, Pee Wee Roscoe ain't said that. They said,
what did I tell you? They tell you a false statement, so you correct. That correction that you do is going to tell them what they need to know and what they should ask moving forward. You say, should I ask about this or this? Let me tell them something right here that's wrong so that they have to correct in one of these ways. You feel me? I know what I'm talking about sometimes.
I thought you ain't know. Young Thug said, write that down. How can you speak to somebody that you don't know? What's going on? Write that down. Young Thug says, I ain't say that like I'm just saying he wouldn't say that. I just know he wouldn't say that. They said, cool. And that's the information police are looking for. That's why you need a lawyer. They're just fishing for connections. They say, hey, aren't you a part of a gang? Don't you say that in your songs? They know he's gonna say no. He says no. They said, all right, cool.
Yep.
Cool. We just thought we'd ask. Birdman, is he part of a gang? Young Thug says no.
Damn, Birdman.
Cool. We just thought we'd ask.
Now
all I'm gonna say, this is the game that Young Thug.
That was
and police
fucking a
are
whole
playing
different
in this
artist.
call.
What am I
At
talking
the end
about?
of the call, Young Thug says, hey, if y'all want to know any more information.
How long before I see results with Tai Chi?
Damn.
Day 3, you'll feel
Hey,
your
sorry,
eyes.
y'all. Hey,
Day 7,
subscribe
your eyes will
so that
change.
we
Day
both
28,
don't have to
you
sit
will
through ads.
Just
Please.
hit me up. But don't tell people that I spoke to you. And that is very important because it lends credence to the Young Thug snitching allegations. Because
if you don't want to be known as a snitch, you don't go around saying, look, I'm gonna use a crazy example. I'm hugging a guy, right? Someone turn around the corner that I know. But that guy is just my boy. I haven't seen him in a minute. I was a childhood friend, hugging him. Like, bro, how you been? Oh, yeah, whatever. That's cool, right? Just like that. But then someone comes around and they look, and then it's literally just like, oh, what does that look like? That's crazy. And imagine me saying, oh, no, you better not tell anybody I was hugging him. How about you just tell him what was going on? Or how about you just leave it? Because it didn't look like that until you said that. Now you just painted your own picture. Young Thug is not. I don't know. He's supposed to be a mafia boss, but he's moving pretty stupid. That's pretty stupid of you to do. You don't know the perception of what you're saying? Come on now. Even I know that. I'm not in the streets.
Whole time he could say, didn't y'all listen to the call? I was trying to throw the police off. I wasn't telling them the truth, which he wasn't. But him telling them, if you need more information, call me. Now you can say another theory. Now you can say, Young Thug is thinking, maybe I'll cooperate in the future. Maybe Young Thug having a conversation with police without his lawyer in the first place is to show how quote unquote cooperative he can be. Maybe he's worried about his name being connected to this whole shooting. So he's saying, look, if you get more info, just hit me up first and I'll clear it up for you.
Bro, they wasn't worried about you.
But I stress that these are just...
They didn't care about you. Why'd you do this? You was my artist, man.
And he
You
also
was
knows it's
my
absolutely
artist.
not a good look to be talking to police in the first place. So again, he tells them, look, this conversation stays between us, right? They say, Young Thug, you think we walk around telling people after we broke bread with you, we sat here, we ate with you, we listened to your music, we like this. Fingers crossed. Thug said, okay, we tight. Y'all not gonna tell the world. They said, fingers crossed, we not gonna tell the world. And well, this videotape recently was released. So let's wrap this up and really dig deep into this situation. Listen to this next part closely.
They be doing that shit on purpose too. Don't let them fool you and make you think that, oh, some hackers got it. What hackers going through body cams? Nah, them niggas release it so that it stirs more drama, and then all that does is bring more light to certain things. And then hackers, and then people, oh, I see this case is going crazy. I'm about to throw a little curveball in it, and they do things like release audio, release tapes, or oh yeah, Thug was here before and he had people come through. I remember hearing, and they come out like that.
Remember, Young Thug has two problems. His jail calls were released, and recordings of him speaking to police were released. During the jail calls, he explains why he was upset at Gunna and why he believes Gunna was a snitch. 21 Savage questions that. 21 Savage tells him he does not believe Gunna did the right thing, but he does not think things were personal. Young Thug says, no, Gunna is a snitch. Turns out Young Thug's brother took the same deal as Gunna. In fact, Young Thug encouraged his brother to take that deal, but Young Thug says his brother is not a snitch. A recording of Young Thug is also released where he's speaking to police saying, hey, hit me up later if y'all want some more info, all that. But he says, I am not a snitch. Gunna is the only snitch in this situation. So it really begs the question, what is a snitch? And the answer is, I don't know. Some people think it's when you talk to police.
I can sit here and tell you, this means nothing for the rap game. It will change it. It will. But I think for the better, honestly. Even if my artist gets hemmed up, I feel like it will help artists coming up and artists that are out right now. We don't have G Herbo already. That nigga's good. So think about it. We're not gonna get this snitching thing no more. It's gonna be at a lesser value, I feel like. Tired of hearing people say snitch, and when you get in that situation, you end up snitching. How about you just don't make it a big deal so that if you do snitch, nigga, it's whatever, right? But I would never snitch.
People think if you're a civilian, you could talk to police, you're not a snitch. I don't know. I personally believe this situation is less complicated than that. I think people tend to create their own reality when it suits them. Gunna is a snitch because he hurt me. That's what I think, Young.
But my brother's not a snitch because my brother.
21 Savage, Gunna broke my heart. His brother can't be a snitch because he didn't want his brother to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Young Thug can't be a snitch because in his mind, allegedly, maybe, I'm speculating, that he's trying to trick the police and throw them off. He's shaping his own reality into what's a snitch and what's not a snitch. You know what I mean? But regardless, the overwhelming consensus online is Young Thug called Gunna a snitch. Meanwhile, the whole time he was speaking to police, Young Thug is a hypocrite.
Damn. I mean, I guess he's a hypocrite. I mean, I think that he just did a piss poor job of trying to... Nah, I can't lie. He fucked up. And I was on his side for a long time. Still on his side. I'm still biased for him, but like, he ain't even dropping music. So what am I vouching for? I've been waiting for so long for some real music. He not making shit, bro. Without further ado, I gotta do this video, man. This is a good video, good insight, very clear, precise, and to the point. No more bullshit drama and like all this left, right stuff that's confusing. It was just down the line. Appreciate y'all for watching, man. Peace.